You've been trained to look at power incorrectly. You were taught to measure yourself by effort, intention, morality, or struggle. None of that matters. Hierarchy does not reward intention. It records outcomes. It does not care what you believe you deserve. It only registers where you are placed by others instantly, silently, permanently. Dominance is not a personality trait. It is a position. And positions are assigned, not claimed. Every environment you enter, room, workplace, relationship, group, runs a rapid sorting protocol. This happens before you speak your second sentence, before you explain yourself, before you defend your values. Your posture, timing, restraint, eye discipline, and emotional leakage are scanned like biometric data. The system does not ask who you are. It decides what you are useful for. Most men never realize this process is happening. That ignorance is not neutral. It is evidence of a lower stratum. You assume hierarchy is negotiated through competence or fairness. That belief alone marks you as subordinate. Hierarchy emerges from pressure. Under pressure, humans revert to primal sorting: who leads, who follows, who absorbs damage, who is expendable. Civilization decorates this process. It does not replace it. The dangerous illusion you carry is thinking dominance is loud. Loudness is often compensation. True dominance is quiet because it does not need to announce itself. It constrains the environment. Others adjust instinctively. Speech softens. Pace slows. Eyes seek approval. This happens before respect is consciously felt. Another lie you were sold: that confidence creates dominance. Confidence is irrelevant without leverage. Predators recognize confidence the way surgeons recognize swelling. Sometimes it's strength, often it's infection. The hierarchy measures what you can enforce, not what you feel. You are ranked by what you tolerate. Every time you explain instead of deciding, you signal uncertainty. Every time you seek consensus instead of compliance, you lower your placement. Every time you overinvest emotionally, you advertise dependency. These are not moral failures. They are positional disclosures. Hierarchy is ruthless because it must be. Resources are finite. Attention is finite. Safety is finite. The system selects men who can operate under scarcity without destabilizing. If you require validation, reassurance, or fairness to function, the structure cannot afford you at the top. This is where the lens must shift. Stop asking, "Am I good enough?" That question belongs to servants. The real question is, how am I being read? Dominance is not self-image. It is external readout. You don't decide your level. Others do through how they interrupt you, defer to you, test you, burden you, or protect you. Hierarchy reveals itself through behavior toward you, not compliments about you. If people give you problems, you are below them. If people give you information, you are adjacent. If people give you silence and compliance, you are above. This lens is uncomfortable because it removes excuses. Trauma, background, intelligence, and intentions are irrelevant at the sorting level. The hierarchy does not care why you hesitate. It only records that you did. Once you see through this lens, you cannot unsee it. Conversations change. You notice who sets frames and who reacts, who speaks last, who absorbs risk and who delegates it, who is protected and who is exposed. Most men sense this instinctively but refuse to name it. Naming it would require accountability. And accountability is dangerous because it demands identity death. This chapter is not here to empower you. It is here to strip you, to remove the comforting stories that keep you static. Before you can locate your stratum, you must abandon the fantasy that the world is fair, meritocratic, or emotionally considerate. Hierarchy is a blade. It cuts clean. You are either wielding it or you are being shaped by it. Hierarchy does not require meetings. It does not debate. It does not wait for consensus. It runs automatically, like a background process, sorting men long before roles are assigned. This is the ranking engine. You do not turn it on. You are already inside it. The engine is built on one question. How much risk does this man absorb versus redirect? Everything else is secondary. Power flows toward those who can impose cost without paying it themselves. Weakness flows toward those who internalize cost while pretending it's virtue. The system watches where pressure lands and where it doesn't. Most men fail here because they misunderstand risk. They think risk is dramatic violence, confrontation, public conflict. That is childish. The real risks are social, emotional, reputational, and strategic. Who can say less and still move outcomes? Who can delay gratification without becoming resentful? Who can remain unmoved while others destabilize? The engine reads micro-behaviors, not declarations. Your speed gives you away. Men who rush speak too soon, explain too much, agree too quickly. Urgency is a confession. It signals that you need the outcome more than the other party. The engine downgrades you instantly. So does over-clarity. Precision is power. Excessive clarity is submission. When you over-explain, you seek permission. Men above you do not require understanding, they require alignment. The difference is lethal. Emotional leakage is another tell. Your face, your tone, your breathing betray whether you are governed internally or externally. A man who cannot contain reaction cannot be trusted with authority. He will trade position for relief. The hierarchy detects this and roots him downward. Compliance is the most misunderstood signal. Obedience is not submission when it is strategic. But reactive compliance, agreeing to avoid tension, saying yes to preserve harmony, brands you as manageable. Manageable men are useful. They are never dominant. The engine also tracks boundaries, but not the way self-help teaches. It does not care whether you communicate boundaries. It observes whether boundaries exist at all. A boundary that requires explanation is already breached. Notice how often people test you with small violations, interruptions, jokes at your expense, last-minute demands. These are not accidents. They are probes. The engine runs these probes through others to see how you respond. Each unchallenged probe lowers your rank. Each overreaction does the same. The correct response is controlled, minimal, and costly to the violator. Most men oscillate between passivity and explosion. Both are read as lack of control. Control is monotony, predictable restraint, the ability to apply pressure without emotion. The ranking engine also measures replaceability. If your value is tied to effort, availability, or goodwill, you are replaceable. If your value is tied to judgment, timing, and decision-making under uncertainty, you are scarce. Scarcity is leverage. Leverage bends hierarchy. This is why loyalty is dangerous when unarmed. Loyalty without leverage converts you into infrastructure. Infrastructure is maintained, not consulted. Praised, not obeyed. Used, not followed. The final variable the engine tracks is detachment. Not apathy, detachment. The capacity to walk away without signaling loss. Men who cannot leave are owned. Men who can leave silently reframe the entire interaction. The hierarchy senses this immediately and adjusts around it. None of this is fair. Fairness is not a variable. The engine is not cruel. It is efficient. It does not punish you for weakness. It simply roots power away from it. If this feels unsettling, good. That discomfort is data. It means you are recognizing behaviors you were trained to justify as being good, being patient, or being understanding. Those labels were not neutral. They were pacifiers. In the next phase, you will see the strata themselves not as moral categories, but as behavioral patterns. You will recognize them in men you respect, men you fear, and men you secretly outperform but never surpass. Recognition precedes escape. Hierarchy is not a spectrum. It is segmented. Discrete layers formed by behavior under pressure. Men do not drift between them casually. They are locked into strata by habit, instinct, and self-concept. You don't act dominant occasionally and rise. You live at a level or you visit it briefly and get expelled. These 8 strata are not titles. They are functions. The system does not care what you call yourself. It cares what role you reliably perform when stakes appear. Stratum 1. The expendable. This man absorbs cost without notice. His labor, time, and emotional energy are consumed automatically. He is not opposed. He is ignored. When removed, the system barely registers loss. His defining trait is invisibility. He believes endurance is virtue. The hierarchy marks him as fuel. Stratum 2. The compliant. He is seen, but only as usable. He anticipates demands and fulfills them preemptively. He mistakes appreciation for security. He avoids conflict and calls it maturity. The system keeps him close because he reduces friction. It will never place weight on him. Stratum 3. The earnest. This man believes performance will save him. He over-delivers, overthinks, and over-explains. He wants to be undeniable. The irony is brutal. His effort exposes his dependence. The hierarchy exploits his need to be recognized. He is promoted in workload, not authority. Stratum 4. The performative dominant. This is where false power lives. Loudness, aggression, theatrics. He signals dominance instead of embodying it. The system tolerates him short-term because he absorbs chaos. Long-term, he is neutralized or removed. His insecurity makes him predictable. These 4 strata make up the majority. They are necessary. They carry weight, noise, and damage so others don't have to. Stratum 5. The strategic operator here. Behavior shifts. This man understands timing. He withholds effort until leverage appears. He speaks less and listens surgically. Others feel his presence without fully understanding why. He is not dominant yet, but he is no longer owned. Stratum 6. The authority anchor. This man stabilizes environments. Decisions defer to him naturally. He does not chase control. It accumulates around him. Challenges dissolve before reaching him. The hierarchy protects him because his removal would cause instability. He is rare. Stratum 7. The sovereign. He is not embedded in the system. He bends it. His independence is real, not symbolic. He chooses engagement selectively. Loyalty flows toward him without negotiation. He is not popular. He is uncontested. The hierarchy does not test him, it adjusts. Stratum 8. The untouchable. This is not dominance. This is insulation. The system roots conflict away from him. Others absorb risk on his behalf. He operates above consequence because consequence is filtered before reaching him. Few men ever reach this stratum, and fewer remain. Most men misidentify themselves. They confuse competence with authority, visibility with influence, aggression with dominance. The hierarchy does not make that mistake. You already know where you sit. Not where you want to sit, where your environment places you. How people speak to you when they are stressed. How quickly they comply or don't. How much explanation you are required to give. The danger is not being low-ranked. The danger is believing you are higher than you are. That delusion keeps men trapped indefinitely. In the next phase, the threat deepens. You will see how these strata repeat across history, institutions, and bloodlines, and why moral progress never erased them. If hierarchy were cultural, it would have died by now. Empires fall. Religions fracture. Laws rewrite themselves. Yet the strata remain intact. This is not coincidence. It is design rooted in human nature, refined by survival. Every civilization pretends it has outgrown dominance. Every civilization lies. Look at ancient courts. Advisors believed proximity meant power. They were wrong. Proximity meant exposure. Real authority sat still while others competed for access. When heads rolled, it was never the sovereign first. It was the eager, the visible, the useful. The strata were already there. Wars revealed as brutally. In chaos, titles dissolve and behavior decides. Some men rush forward seeking glory. They die first. Some hesitate, waiting for instruction. They are used. A few observe, reposition, and strike only when outcomes are guaranteed. Those men survive and command. Same battlefield. Same danger. Different strata. Modern institutions are no different. Offices, corporations, government, same mechanics, cleaner language. The expendable are called team players. The compliant are called reliable. The earnest are called high potential. The performative dominant is called leadership material until he destabilizes the structure. These names are cosmetics. The hierarchy underneath is ancient. History punishes men who confuse morality with power. The loyal knight dies for the king and is remembered as noble. The strategist replaces the king and is remembered as cruel. The system does not reward goodness. It rewards alignment with reality. Survival precedes virtue. Always has. Even revolutions fail this test. The most passionate lead the charge. The most disciplined wait. When the dust settles, the disciplined rule. This pattern is so consistent it borders on law. Passion is combustible. Control is sovereign. Human biology confirms it. In primate hierarchies, dominance is not held by the most aggressive male. It is held by the one who controls access, food, mating, safety. Violence is a tool of last resort. Excessive aggression signals instability and invites coalition against you. The hierarchy eliminates liabilities efficiently. Men romanticize the warrior and ignore the architect. That is why they lose. Look at criminal organizations. The loud enforcer believes he is powerful. He is wrong. He is replaceable muscle. The quiet coordinator who never raises his voice decides who lives and who disappears. Guess who survives longer? The strata persist because they solve an unsentimental problem: how to allocate risk so the system endures. High strata minimize exposure. Low strata absorb it. That is the exchange. The mistake is thinking this exchange is optional. You were taught that fairness would flatten hierarchy. Instead, fairness narratives create compliant populations easier to rank. When everyone is told they are equal, the ones who understand inequality gain asymmetric advantage. Ignorance becomes obedience. This is the real threat. If you do not consciously choose your stratum, the system will assign you one that benefits others. History is not cruel, it is instructional. It repeats lessons until they are learned or until the learner is removed. The men at the top did not get there by being better humans. They got there by understanding the machine and refusing to be processed by a dot. In the next chapter, the focus shifts. No inspiration. No redemption arc. Only strategy. How men reposition without triggering resistance, retaliation, or premature exposure. Most men fail to rise because they announce movement. They seek recognition mid-transition. That is suicide. Hierarchy punishes visible ambition unless it is already justified by leverage. The correct ascent is silent, lateral, and misdirected. Repositioning is not self-improvement. It is behavioral camouflage. The first rule: stop absorbing unearned cost. This does not mean rebellion. Rebellion attracts enforcement. It means selective non-compliance, delayed responses, reduced availability, fewer emotional reactions. You don't confront the system, you starve it of free labor. The hierarchy notices when supply tightens. Second, compress your signal. High-ranking men are information-poor but decision-rich. They do not narrate thought processes. They issue outcomes. Begin speaking in conclusions, not journeys. When pressed for justification, offer minimal rationale, then stop. Silence is pressure. Most men break first. Third, shift from effort to leverage. Effort scales linearly. Leverage scales asymmetrically. Identify where a single decision, relationship, or bottleneck multiplies impact. Remove yourself from tasks that exhaust without repositioning. This will feel irresponsible. That feeling is conditioning. Fourth, master controlled unpredictability. Predictable men are safe to exploit. Unstable men are eliminated. Controlled unpredictability sits between. Occasionally refuse without explanation. Occasionally comply faster than expected. Break patterns without chaos. This forces recalibration around you. Fifth, detach publicly before you detach privately. Internal detachment without external signaling keeps you trapped. External detachment, missed calls, delayed reactions, reduced visibility, forces others to renegotiate your position. The hierarchy adjusts only when behavior changes, not when intentions do. Do not seek allies openly. Coalitions form naturally around men who represent advantage. If you have to recruit, you are still below. Instead, become useful in ways that are not easily replaceable and not easily understood. Ambiguity protects you during ascent. Aggression is reserved, not abandoned. The mistake is overuse. A single, precise enforcement after long restraint redefines you more than constant posturing ever could. The system remembers costs vividly. Expect resistance. When you rise, those above you test. Those below you cling. Do not explain the change. Explanation invites debate. Debate invites demotion. Let the discomfort exist. Discomfort is the price of repositioning. This chapter is not about becoming dominant. It is about becoming unreadable. Unreadable men cannot be easily sorted. That liminal state buys you time, leverage, and insulation. But this phase cannot last forever. At some point, the old identity becomes a liability. The habits, values, and self-image that once kept you safe will now keep you contained. Ascension requires an execution. In the final phase, that execution happens. You cannot rise carrying the identity that kept you tolerated. The system may allow behavioral upgrades temporarily, but it never forgets what you were. Memory is the cage. As long as others recognize the old version of you, they will root you accordingly. This is why most ascents stall. An identity is not who you are. It is how others have learned to use you. Execution begins with severance. You stop reinforcing the old pattern. No reminders. No nostalgia. No apologetic explanations for changed behavior. The past version of you is starved until it collapses. People will resist this quietly. They benefited from your former placement. Their confusion is confirmation. Next comes replacement, not improvement. Improvement keeps the same core. Replacement installs a different operating system. Values shift from being liked to being effective. From being understood to being respected. From being moral to being precise. Precision outperforms virtue every time. The most difficult death is emotional accessibility. Lower strata identities are open, expressive, reactive. They leak state. High strata identities are opaque. Emotion is not eliminated. It is contained and deployed. You stop offering feelings as currency. You stop seeking relief through disclosure. You will feel colder. That is not corruption. That is insulation forming. Another execution point. Self-justification. The need to explain yourself to feel clean must die. Cleanliness is a servant's obsession. Power tolerates dirt. Outcomes sanitize themselves retroactively. If you still require internal permission to act, the old identity is alive. Expect isolation. Ascension thins the social field. Many relationships were contingent on your compliance, availability, or emotional labor. When those are withdrawn, the relationship expires. Do not mourn this. Structures collapse when support is removed. That is not loss. That is correction. This is where men relapse. They mistake loneliness for failure and reinsert the old identity to regain warmth. Warmth is expensive. It is purchased with position. The system smiles when you return. It was waiting. Replacement identity traits are simple but unforgiving. Detachment without hostility. Boundaries without explanation. Decisions without performance. Silence without guilt. You do not announce the new identity. Announcements invite challenge. The hierarchy acknowledges change only when it is consistent over time. Authority accumulates quietly. One interaction at a time. One withheld reaction at a time. By now, you should understand something unsettling. There is no arrival. There is only maintenance. Dominance decays when neglected. Identity execution is not a one-time event. It is a recurring discipline. The final chapter delivers the ultimatum. No inspiration. No safety net. Only the sorting line that decides who remains an observer and who becomes insulated from consequence. This is where the system closes. No more analysis. No more theory. Only placement. By now, you've either felt recognition or resistance. Recognition means you see the machinery and your position within it. Resistance means your current stratum is defending itself. Both reactions are data. Only one leads upward. Understand this. The hierarchy does not reward effort after awareness. Once you see the game, continued submission becomes consent. Ignorance was your only excuse. It has expired. Most men will stop here. Not because they disagree, but because action threatens identity. They will consume this knowledge as entertainment, label it interesting, and return to the behaviors that keep them safe and ranked. The system counts on this. Spectators stabilize hierarchy by admiring it, without challenging it. There is a permanent divide between observers and operators. Observers seek certainty before movement. Operators move with partial information and adjust. Observers wait to feel ready. Operators decide, then absorb the cost. This single difference explains why hierarchy never equalizes. Do not confuse awareness with transformation. Awareness without behavioral change increases suffering. You will see disrespect more clearly and tolerate it anyway. That is worse than blindness. That is humiliation with vision. Here is the final warning. The system is always selecting. Every interaction either reinforces your current stratum or destabilizes it. There is no neutral day. Rest feels like stagnation because it is. Maintenance is invisible. Decay is not. You will be tested subtly. Invitations that drain you. Conflicts that bait reaction. Opportunities that demand visibility without leverage. These are sorting mechanisms. How you respond tells the system whether your execution was real or theatrical. If you revert under pressure, your rank hardens. The hierarchy is forgiving once. After that, it remembers that this is not a call to dominance. That language attracts performers. This is a call to insulation, to operating at a level where consequences are absorbed by structure, not by you. Very few will cross that line. Fewer will remain. The system does not need many sovereigns. It needs many willing to believe they are one. Choose carefully what you do next.